Why Burkina Faso was called Upper Volta. It's Elvis in the building, and today we're gonna delve into a little bit of history, honey. Ever heard of a place called Upper Volta? That's right, Upper Volta. Now it goes by a different name, but buckle up, because we're about to find out why this landlocked beauty used to have a whole different name. Let's go. Alright. Here's the lowdown on how France came to be colonizing Upper Volta, way back in the late 1800s. Imagine it, the scramble for Africa, European countries were all jazzed about grabbing land. France set its sights on a big chunk of West Africa, including this area we're talking about. Now, they didn't just waltz in with a welcome wagon. There were conflicts, you see. Local kingdoms and tribes weren't exactly thrilled about some outsiders claiming their turf. But France had the upper hand with their fancy weapons and whatnot. Slowly but surely, they expanded their control. Think of it like a game of Risk, but way less fun for the folks who already lived there. Hold on a sec, gotta mention this mighty river that played a big role in the whole Upper Volta story. It's called the Volta River, alright? Picture a massive waterway snaking its way through West Africa, like a sparkling blue ribbon on the map. This river wasn't just some pretty sight, though. It was a lifeline for the people here. The Volta River system, with all its tributaries and branches, provided water for drinking and growing crops, especially important in this part of Africa, where the climate can be pretty hot and dry. Transportation, imagine hopping on a boat and cruising down the river, trading goods and visiting different towns. Fishing, a tasty source of food for the folks living along the riverbanks. The Volta River was like a natural highway, connecting people and places. No wonder it became such an important landmark. Now that we've got the French colonization and the mighty Volta River in mind, let's dig into the name itself, Upper Volta. See, when the French decided to slap a name on this territory, they took a practical approach, honey. Upper refers to the fact that this land sits at the headwaters, the very beginning of the Volta River. Imagine the river like a giant tree branch, and Upper Volta was like the main trunk. All those smaller streams and tributaries flowed down into the main waterway that eventually became the mighty Volta. So, Upper Volta literally meant Upper Volta River, a straightforward name that highlighted the river's importance to the region. It wasn't the most creative name, but hey, sometimes you gotta keep it simple, right? You hit the nail on the head, Elvis. The French weren't the only ones fond of naming colonies based on geography. It was kind of a colonial naming trend, you see. Take, for instance, the Gold Coast. Any guesses why it was called that? You got it, because of the abundance of gold found there. Similar story with the Ivory Coast, famous for its ivory trade. See, these names were all about highlighting the resources or key features of the colonized land. Not exactly the most imaginative approach, but it sure was clear what you were getting into. Now fast forward to the groovy tunes of 1960, baby. This is when things get interesting for Upper Volta. The winds of change were blowing across Africa, and the fight for independence was in full swing. Upper Volta wasn't gonna be left behind. After years of French rule, the people were ready to chart their course. On August 5th, 1960, Upper Volta finally achieved its independence from France. This was a momentous occasion, a chance for the country to forge its own identity. New leaders emerged, ready to build a nation free from colonial control. After Burkina Faso, formerly Upper Volta, gained its independence in 1960, there were several leaders who came and went. But the one we'll be focusing on is a particularly radical dude named Thomas Sankara. Sankara wasn't your typical politician. This guy was a young, charismatic military officer with a whole lot of revolutionary ideas. He became president in 1983 through a coup d'etat, which basically means he took power by force. Some might say that's not exactly democratic, but Sankara was all about shaking things up for the better. He was a big believer in Pan-Africanism, which is the idea of uniting all African nations. He also wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo and fight for social justice. This dude was a real firebrand, and he was about to make a big change, a name change, that is. Buckle up, because we're about to unravel the meaning behind Burkina Faso, the new and improved name Sankara bestowed upon the nation. This ain't your typical colonial leftover. This name has some serious meaning behind it. Here's the breakdown. Burkina, this word comes from a Moor language, spoken widely in Burkina Faso. It translates to honest or upright, with an emphasis on integrity and moral character. Sankara wanted to emphasize the values of honesty and fairness that he believed were important for the nation. Faso, this one comes from Diola, another major language in Burkina Faso. Faso translates to fatherland or ancestral home. By including Faso, Sankara was highlighting the idea of a unified nation, a place where the people belong. So, when you put Burkina and Faso together, you get land of upright men. This powerful name wasn't just about geography, it was a statement about the kind of country Sankara envisioned, a nation built on honesty, integrity, and a strong sense of national identity. I apologize, the information I provided earlier contained a slight inaccuracy. While the overall meaning of Burkina Faso is land of upright men, there's a nuance to the etymology. Here's the breakdown. Burkina, this word comes from the Moor language, spoken widely in Burkina Faso. It doesn't directly translate to honest, but rather leans more towards concepts of incorruptible or upright. It emphasizes integrity, having strong moral principles, and resisting corruption. Faso, this one comes from Diola, another major language in Burkina Faso. Faso indeed translates to fatherland or ancestral home. So, by combining Burkina and Faso, Burkina Faso became a name that spoke to the values Sankara wanted to instill, a nation where people are incorruptible and have strong morals, while feeling a sense of belonging to a shared homeland. That name change, from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, wasn't just a cosmetic tweak, baby. It was a powerful symbol of a nation forging its own identity after years of colonial rule. Here's why national identity is so crucial after colonialism. Shaking off the colonial past, colonial powers often imposed their own languages, cultures, and ways of thinking. Choosing a new name was a way to break free from that legacy and define themselves on their own terms. Building unity, colonial borders were often drawn with little regard for ethnicities or tribal affiliations. A new national identity could help unify diverse groups under a shared sense of belonging. Empowerment and pride. Having a name that reflects their own values and history can be a source of great pride for the people. It signifies that they are no longer someone else's colony, but a sovereign nation with their own story to tell. So, Burkina Faso wasn't just a new name on a map. It was a statement of independence, a symbol of national pride, and a step towards building a future based on their own values and aspirations. Alright, let's recap this whole name change story before we head out. Buckle up. Upper Volta. We started with Upper Volta, a French colony named for its location at the headwaters of the Volta River. Simple and descriptive, but not exactly brimming with national identity. Independence. In 1960, Upper Volta threw off French rule and became an independent nation. Time to forge a new path. Thomas Sankara. Enter this charismatic leader who believed in Pan-Africanism and social justice. He wasn't afraid to shake things up. Burkina Faso. Sankara decided Upper Volta wasn't the right fit. Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright men, reflected the values he envisioned for the country: integrity, honesty, and a strong sense of national identity. The name change wasn't just about words, it was a powerful symbol of a nation defining itself after colonialism. That's the story of how Upper Volta became Burkina Faso, a land where they strive to be upright and honest. It makes you think, right? What's in a name, anyway? Well, in this case, a whole lot of national pride and a chance to build a future based on their own values. So, the next time you hear the name Burkina Faso, remember the story behind it. It's a reminder that names can be more than just words. They can be powerful symbols of identity and a nation's aspirations. Alright, that's all for now. Thanks for joining me on this little history trip. Take care, and see you next time. Alright, that's the story of how Upper Volta became Burkina Faso, a land with a rich history and a proud identity. A big thanks to all you viewers for joining me on this little history trip. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more awesome geography videos coming your way. We'll be diving into hidden corners of the world, exploring cultures, and uncovering fascinating stories behind the places you know and love. Until next time, take care and keep on learning.